This is Brad Seacott with Terracom. This is an overview of a set of Python scripts that we've written to control the Viavi TB5800 and the ONA800/1000 for transport testing. Now these scripts are for samples. They are running scripts. You can feel free to use them as you see fit. Or you can edit them, use pieces of them in your code. But these are meant to be an example of how you would automate these instruments using Python. So I'm going to pull up this little screen of dependencies that's going to talk a little bit about the scripts that we have and what they do. So we have two groups of scripts. We have a set of scripts for the TB5800 and a set of scripts for the ONA. So we have a command line script, which basically gives you a command line type feel for sending common commands over. We have a file parser, which will allow you to put commands into a file, into a common text file, and parse through that list and run those commands. And we can go into that. That'll be in a separate video. And then we have a GUI sample, which is written in Python using the tkinter library. Just a simple example of how to program a GUI. The dependencies for all three of these are the TB5800 controls Python library. And this has all of the heavy lifting to communicate with the Ethernet sockets. And I will show you that as well. And then if we go down, we do the same thing with the ONA. So the ONA is the newer version of the T-Bird, if you will. The T-Bird goes up to 100 gig. The ONAs go up to 400 gig as of this video. So we have an ONA command line, we have an ONA1000 file parser, and we have an ONA1000 GUI sample. Of course, these will work for the ONA800 as well. They have a dependency, the ONA100 or 1000 controls, which does all the heavy lifting to connect to the socket that is required to talk with the ONA1000 over Ethernet. And then both of these two here have a TB controller common library that they call on or that everybody calls on to do things like how to format Skippy commands, how to format peeks and pokes, things like that. Okay, so again, this is just an example of how you would do workflow with Python and separating the libraries. And this might be a little bit verbose. You could write a single Python script that could do all of this. We separate it out with the thought that you might want to just focus on one instrument, one style at a time. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we got. If you go to our GitHub repository, you will pull down the latest version, and it should look something like this. And in that repository will be this file on the script dependencies. Let me go back out here. So the file on the script dependencies and all the Python scripts that we talked about, ONA controls, TBIR common, a couple of sample text files for the parser, and then a readme.doc, which will talk a little bit about, let's just go ahead and open that up. This is not complete yet as of this video, but this will just talk about what the different programs are, what they do, and how they work. And it'll also have links to these videos. So that's the quick overview. I'm going to go ahead and break out some videos for the different programs and how they function. Okay? Why don't we take a look at this TB5800 controls Python. Okay, here is the script for that. And you can see what we're doing here. We have common apps that we're putting in here and the ports. So this is all kind of heavy I call it the heavy lifting for communicating with the instrument. Okay, and certainly you can copy this and put this into your own code. And then if you go to the, let's go ahead and open up the controller common library. Put that right in here. And this has all the different commands that we have that are common to each of these programs. Okay, and this way we only have to write them once, right? So we have peek, pokes, starting apps, multi-starting apps, putting in delays, skippy commands, exits. And again, you can just clip what you want out of this and use as you see fit. This is just an example of how to do this. All right, so we'll go on to the next video, and I hope this is helpful.